welcome to the post-game analysis of Game 1 between Afreeca Freecs and Hanwha Life. We have Chung-Hyun Lee, as well as Beetle and Wadid as our analysts today. Alright, first of all, happy birthday, Beetle. As a birthday gift, you guys prepped Wadid for me. Alright, we started off week 7 with Afreeca Freecs versus Hanwha Life. Afreeca Freecs showed off a very stellar performance in Game 1. Hanwha Life picked Aatrox against Mordekaiser as the counter pick, which a lot of the commentators were worried about. I think Afreeca Freecs were able to read on Hanwha Life's intentions in the draft phase. And even if Kennen is picked by Hanwha Life, Mordekaiser is able to dominate Kennen in the early phase of the game. And although Mordekaiser wasn't a necessity for Afreeca Freecs, however, if Hanwha Life got their hands on it, then the dynamics would have been completely different. Not only the top lane is problematic, but also Ashe pick itself is very strong at the moment, so the landscape of bot lane would have been completely in favor of Afreeca Freecs due to their pick of Ashe. And for Aatrox, it may feel really regrettable. And they try to utilize Karma's sustainability to carry out the game, however they failed to do so. So not only the draft was questionable, but also their mis-execution in the game were capitalized by Afreeca Freecs. So there were both worrisomes in top lane and the bot lane as well. And both teams showed off a constant combat-centric plays. We have to compliment Afreeca Freecs' play. When you see Ashe shoving in the wave, the Nautilus swept the brush to locate the potential vision ward placements from Hanwha Life to spot any sort of teleport plays, which they did and got rid of the Karma. And also, the CD on Tarek's ult was still on. It was like about 10 seconds or so. So they knew about it and then they pushed in very audaciously. And because Philius was able to burn Ashe's Splash earlier on, so they thought that they were able to turn this around once Tarek's cooldown was off cooldown. Although the start of the combat went south for Hanwha Life, they were able to turn it around in the end. Both Afreeca Freecs' comprehensive plays, as well as Hanwha Life's great countermeasures, allowed the game to go back and forth until here, where Afreeca Freecs was able to completely dominate the game. And once again, Tarek's ult is once again on cooldown. Yeah, personally, the thing that was most disappointing was that Mir's Karma, like his positioning using the Karma was analogous to his Galio. Karma shouldn't be taking the damage, rather Karma should stay at the back and support ally champions. However, Miru consistently stayed in the frontier line and then got picked off initially, which allowed Afreeca Freecs to win the team fights. Once again, some of the Korean commentators mentioned that Karma ain't Galio. And it's not a champion where you drag attention and skill shots from the opponents and then evade those. Karma has to stay at the back line and help out the allies. And this happened because there was no leverage in the mid lane. And Afreeca Freecs was able to just completely dominate the entire rift, especially in the jungle. Therefore, Haru must have had a lot of difficulties in untangling this game. So it's a disappointing one for Hanwha Life. Afreeca Freecs made the game into an unlosable situation and secured Game 1. Alright, let's check out who's the player of the game for this Game 1. Will it be? It won't be Bizarre, one of the 5 takes the DOG, and it's Keen's Mordekaiser. A remarkable pick, probably stealing away from Hanwha Life. And he had total control of the top lane, and he was also able to achieve a solo kill as well. So Afreeca Freecs, they had the full control in both mid and bot lane. However, the top lane could have been shaky depending on how the laning phase panned out. However, Keen was able to withstand his ground and was able to dominate. The Mordekaiser should have been on his back foot in order for Hanwha Life to balance out and retain the equilibrium of the game. However, he completely ruined that. And also, Aatrox getting ganked that early in the game, despite having the Vision Ward available to spot the jungler. That was very regrettable into this play. Also, a lot of the votes have been split up, but Fly also completely just made Miru irrelevant throughout the entirety of this game. And this has contributed substantially for Afreeca Freecs to retain control of this game throughout the entirety of the game. Fly once again showing off his Orianna, living up to his nickname, the Spear Meister. And Afreeca Freecs was able to secure game 1. Alright, both teams very desperate for every dubs. Let's see who takes game 2. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Brian, for another wonderful translation of the analyst's desk. Interesting about the POG vote there. I think that whenever it's very one-sided, it's difficult for people to really pick one person who turned the tide of the game. But this time the majority did end up with Keen, which is kind of interesting because he was in a winning matchup and he got an early gank, and from there was a fed Mordekaiser. But
75% KP, right, compared to Ashe or Nautilus. It's just, at least me and China are on the same team.
Yeah.
In this one, all right? We understand what was happening.
And one observer, I think Jonah Strong actually voted for AD carry.
These ones always get me, Valdez.
Yeah.
These ones always really...
I feel like this series is really getting you right now.
yeah.
Everything about it, you know?
Well, let's see what Hanwha Life are going to try to do now here on blue side. Banning away Karthus is interesting. So on blue side, it makes a lot more sense because Karthus is an R3, R4, R5 champion. He can't come in preemptively. He is conditional. But when he does come in, he is one of the best junglers in the entire game. He's not the best because you can't just pick him in every single situation, but still is fine. Aphelios and Karma also banned away. Banning Karma on blue side does feel bad, but perhaps Miru just does not want to try to deal with it. They're going to pivot to a Kalista theme composition, and I feel like every day of the week you're just walking into problems, pretty much, especially if your team is outclassed. As Ashe in set, now going to get locked in here by Afreeca.
Yeah, the set pretty interesting. Obviously, it's going to be running straight into the Kalista, but can be flexed a little bit as we have seen before. Here we do have immediately turning into Nidalee Azir, so not necessarily going to be pulling off super hard engage right from the get-go alongside of the Kalista, and they do gain a little bit of range with that.
Yeah, the Nidalee and the Azir are very off-theme with Kalista, which is so surprising. If you're going to B1 it, why are you now pivoting away from the identity of the team composition? Because all that it does is now Azir and Nidalee, they're both thinking to themselves, well, we hate you. And then she's like, fine, I hate you too.
Infighting.
Yeah, with some, you know, like...
Yeah.
Does not make a whole lot of sense there. Zoe and Ashe, we've seen this a lot as a combo in recent weeks as Ezreal's been pushed aside. It seems like Zoe's hanging out with her new friend.
Yeah. Ashe is she's pretty cool. I don't blame Zoe. Interesting to see the Poppy ban. I think that a lot of people are giving Spirit the benefit of the doubt nowadays. They're just like, we just really don't want to see you in particular on that champion. And a very much targeted ban that is happening a lot against Afreeca nowadays. We do see the Wukong taken alongside of the Taric. Still a lot of options to go alongside of Kalista. but they did not want to see the Taric.
Yep. And we'll see where Afreeca goes with this draft.
Win.
They could definitely still add another poke champion to the mix and really just dial down on hurting Hanwha Life through that means, because...
Or R4 Renekton comes one step before. You gotta wait until they lock it in and then say thank you.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now, I'm excited because Riot has announced, right, that Tom is going to eventually be changed. So, looking forward to see what ends up happening there.
What if he becomes like a bruiser type?
I get
jungle?
it. Hold on, I get it. Afreeca
yeah.
hovered Renekton to be like, you guys want this, right? you want this crocodile?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we do.
You want it. You better not take it.
What is the team comp, man? What is going on? What is the conversations being had on the stage right now? B1 Kalista into C Ash set R1 R2 into, okay, let's go poke and terrain control with Nidalee and Azir. And now, well, we don't know why we have Kalista. Into Zoe comes in as a response, so Ash Zoe, it's going to be poking you lock, going to be making things hard to play, but you have Nidalee, you do have Azir, so you have some methods to fight back. Opponent goes into Tahm Kench. Now they become more weak and prone to poke in Siege. Those are the worst things about it. And then they dial back down with Rakan and Renekton. So it's, why do you have Nidalee at this point? Why do you have an Azir that is now, I mean, Azir's being forced to go in, but he doesn't want to go in. Because you look at the champions on the side of Afreeca, and things just get weird all around. Bot lane was self-countered, even though they knew the Tom was blind. I just don't get it. Mordekaiser's about to get another win in LCK. Can we talk about some of the real tragedies happening here today?
I wanted to point that out, but you beat me to it. Mordekaiser, Keen. Name a better duo. I can't. Keen really the only one finding wins, and that's because he plays Mordekaiser against weak teams. It makes sense.
That's the hilarious thing about it,
yeah.
The context surrounding. No one ever wants to talk about context surrounding stats. They just want to talk about stats. It's really nauseating. But nonetheless,
well, that's why we have you here to break it down. Give us the context.
Break it down. I'm sure my body would want to process this. Tahm, Ash, Zoe, Set, and Mordekaiser is going to be the team comp for Afreeca. And honestly, I mean, they have defensive linemen for the Zoe and the Ash, and so it's all just threading the needle for those two champions to do what they want to do. And if Hanwha Life pull the trigger and try to hard engage, there is more than enough to stop them from doing so. And there was not an answer to Ash and Zoe on the side of Hanwha Life's team comp.
Yeah, doesn't really seem like there's much. I think in terms of the hard engage, I think that Tom can kind of just, because the hard engage that Hanwha Life have too, it's like you get that one big wombo combo, and if Tahm Kench goes QSS and avoids that, takes away the Ash, Zoe, has range. After that one big wombo combo, even if the game is even, you can take one member out with Keen, you can take another one out with the Set, and then you have a lot of range with the Zoe Ash to just follow up after their hard engage, because there's not much power after that hard engage from Hanwha Life.
And the thing that's so strange is, right, so imagine in a standoff in mid-game or dances around Dragon or Baron, Zoe and Ash are just throwing out volleys, they're threatening Ash Arrow, bubbles are going to constantly be coming out from Zoe. And what is the real response from Hanwha Life? Because if you activate the quickness and you try to get Pokeball thrown in by Kalista or something, Set just gets guaranteed face breakers. He gets guaranteed multi-man haymakers, he gets superplex value. Mordekaiser is having the time of his life right now.
Yeah.
Tahm Kench actually has value. Things are... It's not far-fetched to imagine multiple scenarios that are all favorable to Afreeca. But if you want to talk about something that is far-fetched, it's one that involves Hanwha Life somehow having a favorable position in a mid or a late game dance. It's just not there. Tom is a little bit thick, almost fell out of the brush. Have you seen the new champion?
Yes.
The one that's on PBE?
Yeah, looks nice. Why?
I noticed that you're struggling here. What
What do you mean?
You know, why don't you address them by name? What's going on here?
Who's that guy? Was he like Yarn or something? Ooh, that was cool.
Ooh.
He avoided the.
Yeah, and I think it's because his bot lane or himself. Well, Haru could have F-keyed. We don't know. But maybe the bot lane communicated they just hawk-shotted, and he actually went out of the way. And I think that is really interesting because it could mean that they anticipate that he's at golems coming off of base rather than doing the route that he's on. And that has two entirely different meanings because if you do think that he, for some reason, based after 3 camps and went down golems, you think that he arrives at top rather than bottom.
He's okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
It didn't really work out. Maybe he forgot about the shield because he was not really going to have the damage that was going to come out here and kill Miru.
Yeah, and Miru, I mean, he's messing up his CSing. I don't know how you managed to miss all 4, but
yeah, it happened. We witnessed it.
Should have been able to get a few of them.
Yeah, he's got TP.
Yeah, he has TP, but Fly crashes the wave again, and so the TP doesn't really matter. I mean, he'll use it, but this isn't what would have been ideal for him.
Is that what you would call a prank?
Yeah, well, so Spirit comes up into top lane, chunks doo-doo. I mean, it gives Keen a recall if he wants it, but now Keen's just going to place a ward and stay in lane. And this confuses me because had Keen just recalled, it's a cannon minion. He would be able to come back into the lane as the cannon and the next wave would be compiling up and then going into his turret. And then he can play out the lane with better battle stats or retain the teleport. Doo-doo teleports back into lane, trade with him a little bit, and then teleport back again and retain the advantage. So some lost opportunities here. And because Keen chose to play it as is, yes, the wave's coming into him, but he did miss out on a bit of CS. And Doo-doo now just needs to hard crash this wave. And you can see Keen is showing weakness. He's further back than a Mordekaiser should need to be. And now Doo-doo can hard crash this, escort it into turret, and get a free recall off.
It all plays out according to plan. And Haru's looking for a gank here. I don't know about that. It's going to be easily dodgeable. Fly is totally fine. Just a little bit of damage comes in, and Haru's going to stick around. I thought maybe he was actually going to help clear the wave. But this time around, he's not going to steal all that XP, just like in Game 1.
Yeah. And so Haru going to run back down now to the Scuttle Crab. Ends up clearing his rafters as well. Spirit now here. Face Breaker.
Oh, wow.
What is
Spirit, you're going to have to answer to LS after this game. I don't know what the idea was there. It seems like these two guys are kind of forgetting what Azir can do. Or maybe, you know, underestimating the cooldown.
That Prestige Zoe skin is very cool, by the way.
I like the sound of the trouble bubble.
Yeah.
It's very dark, you know. It's not a, you know, cute lullaby tone like it usually is.
The most recent Prestige skin? It's one of the best skins in the game.
Really?
Yeah. It's Prestige Edition Teemo.
Oh,
yeah.
that one?
yeah, you don't want to make sure.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what do you mean?
You don't want to make sure that you try to get that belt.
I am not a big Teemo aficionado myself.
All right.
Have you played a lot of Teemo in your time?
Well, I have.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's funny you say that, but not going to tell you why. Anyways.
Okay.
Meanwhile, in this game, I mean, we have a call on Mystic. He's just getting to ride out this laning phase with it. pretty much uncontested. Afreeca's going to pick up first Infernal. Now, Fly, being a Zoe connoisseur, does have the Redemption, and Mordekaiser's lane state is fantastic right now. So Keen is feeling pretty comfortable up there as well. Not a whole lot is happening so far here, though, in this game. And Set is actually outpacing a Nidalee. What is Haru doing? He's hanging on the way. So
yeah, he wants to steal the Raptors.
He's going to go into the Raptor camp.
And he's going to get a ward down too,
yeah.
So he wants to be pretty aggressive. Knows that the red buff is coming up here soon. Maybe he wants a little bit of help from Dudu. But you can see that Spirit's also pinging for that help, as a little bit of a trade here in the mid lane. Fly picks up Proto Belt. Very good Zoe player.
Yeah.
Picking up either a Proto Belt or a Redemption will generally mean that you're a very good Zoe player.
And Haru is going to clear that Scuttle Crab. Now he should just go back to farming it up. And all right, Keen and Dudu got a little bit of a trade.
Oh, he's in range, and Miru's going to die. There you go. First blood solo kill. And up in the top lane here, Keen trying to beat him further down, but it's just going to be a trade up in the top side. They're both beefy boys. As now Spirit going to face check, but he's got Thomas here.
Yep.
To go along with him.
Yeah, he's going to eat all that honey fruit after taking that spear to the face. And Mystic, I mean, his lane is starting to push away, so Kalista is in a very nice position.
Okay.
Whoa!
It's going to be the flash in, and here comes the knockup. Haru with the easy spear. And Lehens is going to pick up the kill. I don't think that was intended. Generally want to give it to the other carries.
What did Viper do? Wait, how? Wait. What? The wave was coming into him.
Yeah, it was. He pushed it back when he was alone.
And now Ash and Tom have a freeze, and they can hold it. And because Rakan was on the top side of the map, Kalista can't go to lane, so she's stuck now getting the Golem camp. But I think if Afreeca played it right, Kalista can't go back to the wave for about 2 waves. Let's take a look at this.
This isn't even a trouble bubble. It's just a straight up Battle Star.
미드 잡았어, 미드 잡았어.
He didn't even pop the corrupting potion, so actually not as optimized as it could have been, but it doesn't matter in the end, regardless. And Keen just dying there, tries to survive. I really would have liked to have seen the bot lane state. How did it...
A replay of the bottom lane?
Yeah. And Miru... whoa!
Okay, yeah, he's going to be taken through that. And over the wall he goes, but Fly will follow as now Spirit is going to be alive. As more damage coming out here, Fly has the flash coming in, and one more will do it as barely is going to get it. I think that was his W more Sparkles that picks that one up as Mystic will die. He's alone under the turret here for some reason. Use both of his summoners. Here comes the rotation.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Here comes the Abyssal Voyage. Fly. Yeah, and... Oh, no, never mind.
Oh, they're TPing here. Gonna flash it away. And, yeah, well, Lehens is gonna try to make his way out, but looks like he will just be able to. The tongue not long enough, as Zoe now is 4-0.
And Keen now up here in topside, living on an island. That's all the chaos happening on the right side of the map. Fly is enormous on this Zoe. You know what I'd actually like? We're not going to see it. I would like him to just get Mage Eyes.
Right away?
Right now. Right away. Just get Mage Eyes. Place the control ward if you need inventory space before you go back, or sell it if you think that it would just die right away. And pick up Mage Eyes right away, because you can activate it with just an assist. And so there is so much value to be gained there, and you're in such a dominating spot in this game. But no, gonna just pick up the Luden's Echo right away. Now, one of the other reasons about the Ludens, I'll talk about it right after all the replays, really nice superplex against the Sand Soldiers. Haymaker, Ends up missing, not the end of the world though, picks up a flash, and then Haru trying to make his way out here. And you can see Fly even miscalculating some of his damage, inputting a couple of back clicks. Flash out by Mystic is, well, not ideal. He also ends up also healing, so he definitely got jebaited a little bit by how he felt of himself there. Looks like the turret plates went to no one though. So that is definitely, okay, teleport canceled there by Keen. He said, get over here like Scorpion. And Fly just coming down here. Really unfortunate they couldn't get Lehend, but a very narrow escape by him. And so, as we resume to live, this is why I think the Ludens purchase isn't necessary, is because Afreeca are in such control of the game, you don't need the Ludens for a team fight, which means you have about another 5 minutes to get that Ludens. And in that 5 minutes, there is chances you get Magi stacks.
Oh, Keen, he's gonna do Mordekaiser things. He's great at delaying under turret. Fly, gonna make his way here. He's gonna hit Italy. See ya! Down he goes. That was Dudu saying, see you later, Miss Italy. I'm gonna survive and you are not.
Whoa, man. Now Set has taken over mid lane for the time being. That would have been Magi activation, by the way. I'm just throwing it out there. Didn't need Ludens to make that one happen, but
yeah, well, they can still get it.
Fly is having the performance of the game so far. Looking like he's going to get a player of the game vote, Valdez, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, you can practice writing in the mid box for when Chovy plays next series.
Are you kidding? Lift the papers, Valdez. I already got it. You know, this is how it's going to be.
They're really trying to punish Keen here. It's not really going to happen, though. He's got Flash. Should be fine.
그냥 붙어서 해봐. 시간 벌어봐. 나 가는 중이거든.
I'm going. By time, I'm going.
야, 니달리.
Italy.
잡았고, 오케이. 미드 커버해줘.
Mid, give me cover mid. Or cover mid, please,
I just
for
heard
me.
the green casters in the back were like,
Yeah.
back and forth. Like, it was a choir.
Yeah.
Screams from their side. And it was a really nice play. Fly, he looks really good in games like this, you do have to say. If only he could be consistent like this every single game,
Yeah.
he would definitely be one of our top mid laners right now.
And okay.
Hex Tech Flash. Very good. I'm a fan.
And I mean, this game, even though it's only a 1,000 gold lead, you have to remember the team comps and what that probably means for mid-game standoffs. Especially, I mean, we have Ocean, which is basically just, it is the best soul, pretty much, that you could ever want. And that's going to be coming up here for Afreeca. And Hanwha Life are not going to be in a position to really contest that.
Oh boy.
As, okay, well, things are...
This is just straight up.
Right.
Right? Okay, they're going to get the Devour coming in here, flash away, but the exhaust is going to keep him in range. Haru now might be punished by Mr. Keen. He's going to say, get over here, take him down. He's going to lose, or rather leave the top lane to do it, but at least he's going to trade a kill back.
Yeah, so some of the weird things there is throughout that whole trade, Mystic had Biscuits, didn't activate it, and then also immediately spit himself out of the Devour, which was also a little bit surprising.
Oh. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Oh! Not dead yet.
He has Flash and Ignite, but not going to actually use it.
Decides to hold on to it here as, okay, there's another one.
Yeah.
But a little bit too out of range that time around. Still, they're going to zone them out of the turret. They get the first one of the game. Keen just going to rotate down bottom side, let his bot lane rotate top. And all is okay as they're looking now for Viper, but Lens is there.
And now at this point, it does...
Oh, doo-doo.
Okay. Well, Toy Renekton. You ever watch Toy Soldiers as a kid?
Toy Soldiers?
Yeah, isn't that the name of the movie?
Toy Story?
No, I don't know what it was.
With like the green soldiers.
Yeah, and like the animal-looking soldiers.
Are you sure you're not talking about Toy Story?
Yeah. I think it was Toy Story.
It's like one that has kind of like an astronaut uniform on, right? There's one that kind of looks like a cowboy.
No. Alden. What?
It's it's a coming-of-age story that shows the importance of childhood relationships and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a good movie. Anyway, we have the bottom lane trade here. You can see that they were kind of baited into this one. Thankfully, Haru is here, so they were able to trade the one, but the TP is going to trade this one up. And then, of course, the trade in turrets 2-for-1 do go in favor of Afreeca at the same time.
Well, here is the dragon fight. This is probably going to be Hanwha Live's last hurrah. They're down just under 3,000 gold right here. The angle is really rough for them. They can't really get through the bodyguards. Ashe, Volley, Mordekaiser.
He gets connected.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. I think he could have just taken Haru, but instead, he's going to be in that back line. Drake will go the way of Afreeca. Into the back line there. Spirit is going to survive for so long as Keen gets burst down in the front line, but a lot of low health bars here as Fly tries to flash forward. Not going to find the effectiveness there as everybody on the side of Hanwha Life is, in fact, going to get away as the flash that he picks up is not going to be enough. Still kind of on the chase here, as Zoe can do.
Yeah.
Wants to deny these backs and gets more value for his team.
Ooh. And so crisis averted. For the time being, a little bit overzealous was Afreeca with how they initiated that fight, but they get themselves the dragon, which is all that matters. So Keen says, my life for ire, as he goes forward, pulls in Renekton as a pick, which is surprising because you know Haru doesn't have his flash available.
Yeah.
So I thought Nidalee is just dead every single day of the week. Ashe was pretty fine. Spirit with a haymaker. Keen goes down. And then Fly right here. He tries to flash forward to get Viper, but Viper had flashed out of the way. So trying to go for a bit of spice there, which, by the way, so the name of the movie was Small Soldiers.
Small Soldiers?
You never
No,
saw
I
that?
don't think I've seen that one.
Like, you haven't seen a lot of things.
You sure it's not the one with the stuffed animal dinosaur?
What? I don't know you anymore, actually. It's a really weird
Okay,
thing.
yeah. Times have changed.
They really have.
Yeah. But Afreeca dominating east side of the bracket teams in the LCK hasn't changed. Are they actually, like, clean in terms of their results? Like, they've only lost the top teams and only beaten bottom teams?
Yeah.
I'm gonna recheck that. Seems like the answer is, in fact, yes. Straight across the board, they only have wins.
Yep.
Against the east side of the bracket teams. And,
yeah, things are just looking very rough here. As Nidalee does go to sleep. Zoe is no longer the only champion in League of Legends that now has sleep as an ability.
Lilia?
Lilia, yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I have not heard a lot about her. She's been really overshadowed by Yasuo's brother.
Yarne, I think is his name.
I'm going to actually start a petition or something to
Yolanda, maybe?
have his name canonly changed.
Just take over the lore.
It's the weirdest thing. Everyone, even though they've seen it in the trailer, everyone that I've interacted with just refuses to say Yone. So
yeah,
the only people who I've talked to that do say it that way or continue to are Koreans.
Which, you know, I
because
guess
they
makes
see
sense,
it written in Hangul, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
And
but,
I think in English, if you were gonna have like really try to drive the point home that it's an A on the backside, you would have the accent. or the accent on the E, right?
Yeah, you'd
Like
either you would have the
French E.
accent or an I after the E, I would assume. But then you could make
That would, yeah.
the argument that his name isn't English, which it's not, right?
Yeah, it's not, so.
Sort of like Atrox. It's
And
Latin.
Ramus as well.
There you go. Well, Vanilla
This
Ice.
is a massive flank coming in, but that is a big Emperor's Divide. Lahens follows up, but as I mentioned in the early game, they have that one big hurrah, and then they're all just running away. Renekton does nothing. He does 0. Doesn't matter how the lane wins. He's gonna be sitting there in the front line and watching his teammates die. Afreeca gonna take out 3, and now they're gonna set their sights on the Baron with the jungler dead.
Yeah, I mean, this game is really looking doomed. Ocean Soul's coming up in 25. Keen has teleport, so he can recall after Baron, teleport down into bottom for good measure. You see the pings going down on it by Hanwha Life. I think that they want to clear the wave out just to try to guarantee that Mordekaiser cannot TP down, but there's another wave coming in anyway, so it's pretty hard to imagine. Really good setup here. Redemption did go wide. Fly should have put it behind the retreat path
Yeah.
to basically cut it off or force them between a rock and a hard place. And the spit out, Keen comes back out with the shield and just kiting forward. And Afreeca, they're in total control of the game. And before that fight in the Baron, the goal score was actually still pretty reasonably close. Comps just suck, man.
Well, here comes the arrow. They're going to have another engage here as the flash away from the Rakan engage, and then the follow-up from the side of Afreeca is going to be massive. Everybody's just being pummeled here. Hens goes down. This is going to be a clean ace. There you go, 5-0. And that will be the win for the side of Afreeca as they'll look to push mid and take the game.
Well, this has been, I mean, Afreeca, they've done this a few times now. They completely annihilate teams on the east side of the bracket, and they do so in such a dominating fashion. Fly has such a good game here in set 2. Ended up giving him player of the game right now. Hanwha Life, they really take the cake and eat it too.
Well, they're gonna feed more kills too.
Oh.
And Burst Divide comes in, but it just ends up getting the Azir killed. GG! As Afreeca will take the 2-0, and it wasn't close. This wasn't exactly a series that we're gonna look back on and say, wow, really gotta check this one out. It's just Afreeca dominating another lower level team, and we're still waiting for them to show anything up against one of the other teams on the west side of the bracket.
Well, there's a Viper on the screen. Keen feeling pretty good about today's series. It definitely was a speed run. We're gonna have a very long break before the clash of the Titans between Damwon and DRX. That is going to be in an hour and 37 minutes from now, when that finally does end up concluding. And
technically, we start at 7:50, and then the pick band starts at 8. But
technically, you don't have to pick Renekton. You know, how about that one?
Yeah.
Technically, you don't have to B1 Callista, pivot away from it on B2, B3, and then pivot back into it B4, B5, thus undermining your B2, B3, but, you know, I mean, what do I know?
Yeah, I don't know. What do you know?
I don't know about this.
Yeah. It was kind of cool when you called the lane state thing at level 5 with Renekton versus Mordekaiser. You remember that? Where it's like, Mordekaiser, come back here. You know, answer with the TP if he has to. He can run back. He's got a good back timing.
Yeah.
But instead, he takes the weak place, gives the free back over the Renekton.
Yeah, these are things that happen often.
Dudu had like a pretty
a lot
decent...
called over.
Yeah, it really does. And Dudu had like a pretty decent laning phase that time around because of reasons
Keen's
like that.
mistakes.
Because of Keen's mistakes.
Keen blundered some decision making. Has nothing to do with mechanics. So.
And you know, Renekton can lane decently, but then once we saw like even early
mid game,
and then mid game, he was just like invisible. Like, where was Renekton? He like tried to TP into the bottom lane that one time and got denied, and it was like, okay, well,
yeah, you got Death Graph,
great,
and I mean, there just really wasn't a whole lot going on there. in this game. A lot of things were so bizarre out of Hanwha Life, from their drafts to their gameplay as well. There was definitely some bewildering things too coming out of Afreeca with some of their decision makings, handshaking. Fly though, with the performance of the game on the Zoe. If he does not get unanimous, something's wrong. If he doesn't, we have to interview the person that did not.
No, I guarantee you that Mystic is going to get a couple of those.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Again, we have too many 80 carry fans on the voting, on the judge desk, okay? Just going to point that out.
Weird. Fly inputs, not 1, but 2, 3 back clicks.
Yeah.
Which is surprising. And then this was another strange one. Mystic uses his heal. And I don't know for what reason. Right here, Viper, he actually had lost out on the turret plate. It was good cancel by Keen. And yeah, Lahen did make it out of here, which was nice. This was the bubble. Take a look at this, how Fly weaves it in there. But also, Haru, what he's trying to do is he's trying to get the turret plate. And then he gets told good night.
Yeah.
This was the fight that was really weird. Look at Haru.
Right.
No flash. No flash.
Even with flash, you know?
I mean, you'd go up on the left-hand side. Yeah, I mean, things can definitely get a little bit weird. He can hop away a little bit and then try to flash to buy a lot of time, but the Renekton is definitely surprising. And then right here, Viper flashes away. That's why Fly's bubble ends up going wide. And then right here, the Redemption, it should have been further back onto the left-hand side to cut off the retreat trap, especially because you have set flanking. So he would not only get to be there to superplex someone to guarantee, but he gets value himself out of the heal. Mordekaiser spit right back out, obliterate onto Hanwha Life, as that is what Afreeca was doing. Go forward. Slowly. 0-0-0-0. I like that. Set superplex to Zero's corpse.
That's hardcore.
Keen, no one can back you.
Maybe back you up.
20초거든? 스펠 체크 니달리 노플이고 나오는 거 니달리 노플
레넥
낙하는
노플.
레넥
Just talking about who has flash and who doesn't on the side of Hanwha Life.
할만해.
할만해.
We can do this, yep.
사실 애들 다 나오긴 하는데 그냥 피 유지해서 끝낼 생각하자.
You know, Renekton's going to come out, but I think we can just focus on ending.
Yeah.
Or everyone is going to respawn.
야, 둘 다 스턴. 니달리. 아지르. 타워 깰게. 아지르 마무리하고 타워 깨자. 나이스.
Like, get a Zero, I'm going to kill the tower. It's interesting that they say tower instead of Nexus. I guess it's easier to say tower. It's 2 syllables instead of 3 in Korean.
What is Nexus called?
I think it's Nexus.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty sure, but...
I know inhibitor is Okjegi.
There you go. Korean lesson of the day.
There you go.
And the 2 games together don't even amount to an hour's worth of game time. It was almost under 50 minutes. We slightly got above that. It was about 51 minutes in total. And so that does mean that we're going to have the interview and then about an hour and 5-minute break. So it is going to be one of those century-long breaks that you guys love to talk about. Will be interesting to see if Fly does pick up the player of the game. I think he absolutely should. Pretty obvious on this one. He went legendary 8-0-6.
Yeah. 400 points for him now in the player of the game standings on the Zoe. So it'll be interesting to hear from him. And I like what you said during the game, where he's very hit or miss in most of the series that he ends up playing. And this game, it was just one of the ones where he was popping off and did not really experience a whole lot of resistance from the enemy team whatsoever. Really good bubbles, and Hanwha Life, I mean, they just look lost due to not really having a whole lot that he can do. And I mean, this is just disastrous, but I mean, look at the team comp. What do you want it to do? Every champion wants to do different things. It's just a mess. Disaster, honestly. God. 12 out of 12 unanimous. At least there's something nice I can say.
Something is right in the world. Something makes sense. And it's going to be Fly that does pick this one up, of course. Yeah. And it's going to be alongside Keen. So we're going to hear from the two solo laners on the side of Afreeca. Curious to see, Keen actually looked pretty, you know,
Energetic.
joyful,
yeah,
energetic
yeah,
after
more
the
than
game.
he normally does.
Yeah. Generally after a stomp like this, it's kind of just like, okay, work's done. I'm pretty much, you know,
yeah.
I'm out of here. Let's go practice. But I'm going to hand it over to Brian. Let's hear from the players.
Made their 7th win, and they cemented their lead over the teams from the Eastern Conference. So let's talk with Keen and Fly. Congratulations on the win. All right, you guys said that you guys will smile after the dub today, so please smile for us. All right, Keen, how do you feel about the 2-0 victory today? First off, we got a 2-0 victory in the last series as well, so we were able to mount a lot of points, so that's a good sign for us. Recently, a lot of the staff members like Afreeca Freecs because of their very fast-paced games. And you received a unanimous POG, Fly. Your thoughts on it? First off, I really didn't want to lose to my laning counterpart. So I'm content with my performance today. I'm sure you will be. Alright, Keen, you picked blind pick Mordekaiser, and that was referred as one of the most clutch picks in this game. What was your thought behind it? Mordekaiser itself is a great blind pick champion, and also it's a confident champion for me to use, so therefore I chose Mordekaiser in that situation. Right, HLE answered back with Aatrox. What was your reaction to it? I didn't thought that he was going to use Aatrox, and this has been prevalent from back in the day as well, so I played with a lot of comfort. Our Fly, you utilized Orianna in game 1. You're 3-0 thus far. BDD once mentioned that in order to play Orianna, you should play like Rookie. What's your take on his comments and Orianna in general? It's a champion that requires a lot of conditions in terms of the team comp. I think that's a humble answer from you. You just completely ripped off Karma and made her irrelevant. I think you will probably have a lot more confidence with your Orianna. What it chose you as POJ for game 1 as well. What's your take on it? Well, Orianna's laning phase only gets stronger, and also her teamfight potential immensely grows depending on the team comp. I think it's just because I've been on form lately, and therefore I was able to translate that into my gameplay. So you guys are known as the Guardian of Equilibrium in LCK. Not the most positive sign. What's your take on that nickname? I think it's because we weren't able to get a dub against the 4 teams that are above us. So it's inevitable that we hear those kind of comments from it. And we should get as many dubs as possible against the top contenders as well. So you guys are currently on your way to get back on form. So things will get better for you guys in the future, right? Yeah, I think it will get much better than those of round 1. So Fly, you got the Proto Belt, although Proto Belt is not one of the preferred itemization on Zoe. What's your take on it? First of all, the laning phase went very well. It allows Zoe to increase the range of Q using the Proto Belt. So I just try to utilize it to maximize my accuracy of Q. And that is why I went for such itemization process for this particular game. You made a lot of clutch plays with Zoe. It's one of the most frequently used champions from you, 5-3 thus far. How would you rank your Zoe of the mid laners in LCK? I used to be pretty brilliant at it, but I think I'm probably in the somewhere in the middle of the pack, 3rd or 4th. Well, I guess there has to be a showdown for you guys to determine who's on the top. All right, so what was your take on the performance? It's not that I'm not satisfied. I just don't really care too much. I'm very indifferent at it. So recently, watching your games, it's very high-paced. Do you guys care a lot of the pace of the game while you guys are propagating the snowball? Or do you guys just disregard it, yet the pace of the game just excels very high? I'm not entirely sure because we don't really care too much about it. Right. It struck as a headliner in the previous interview. Increasing your form, does that has to do with you guys keeping your poise? We think that we perform better if we keep our poise. So we try to not to get too ecstatic, control our emotions, and play out our games. I hope you guys continue to do that and smile during the post-game interviews. Is there a particular method that you guys utilize to control your emotions? For me, I'm a very quiet person, and Spirit consistently tells us to keep our composures, so we just follow his words. So, is Coach Final Cat's first day today? Any birthday remarks for Coach? All right. Happy birthday, Coach. And I hope only blessings are to come for you. Our flight. I think we provided a birthday gift for you as a 2-0 victory, and well, I hope you enjoy the birthday cake later on. All right, next up, you're against DRX, and because you guys have to aim for higher standings, your resolution for the future series against DRX, Keen. All right, in round 2, I think we were able to speed up the pace of our games. And in this round, we really want to hand out L's to the top 4 teams. Our fly, likewise. All right, very concise yet impactful answer from Flag. All right, once again, congratulations to both of you. All right, we had words with Keen and Fly, the POGs of this series. All right, let's check out the standings, how things changed out.
Thank you, Brian, as always, for the wonderful translation there. As we do see the standings, Hanwha Life has now directly tied with Sode Prince down towards the bottom. And Afreeca, they have moved up into 1 win. It'll be interesting to see who T1 plays next. They actually have the Telecom War up against KT tomorrow. So if they actually got upset by KT in that one, they would be even with Afreeca. But for right now, it does feel like DRX on top. You got Damwon and Genji right next to them. And that's the top 3 for now.
The other thing is that I believe that both Sode Prince and Hanwha Life now have to go 6-0 in their next games in order to make playoffs.
Oh, I don't think it's even possible.
Oh no, wait. I think it is impossible.
Yeah,
right?
we've only seen, I think the highest
so they're just
loss score
to
make playoffs was 8-10 with like a tiebreaker, and even then maybe it was like 9-9. I know that we've had a lot of 9-9, so that's possible. But with already 11 losses for both of them, they are pretty much down in the dumps there, unfortunately.
We have a lot of time until Damwon versus DRX.
Yeah. It's a massive match, guys. You do not want to miss. It's going to take 1 hour and 10 minutes, though, to get there. So set your timers. We'll be back for that huge matchup just then.